This begins a session of TK Academy, which is Team Knowledge for Architects and Designers. This is a specialty course and is over a very specific topic of the Resident Management System used by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, commonly known as RMS. The following learning objectives have been identified for this course. Identify the difference between the government and contractor modules within the Resident Management System. Explain how the submittal register generated from SpecSyntact interfaces with RMS. Identify the types of review that can be indicated for a submittal. Identify the three parts of a three-phase inspection conducted on construction sites. Name the two typical timeframes for warranty inspections to occur after construction. The Resident Management System is a construction information management program developed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to manage construction quality and contract administration. It was started in the 1980s by Mr. Haskell Barker. He was a resident engineer of the Los Angeles District of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. When RMS started in the 1980s, it began as a simple database on a DOS-based platform used to track information. Over the years, it has developed and grown, and it is now a web-based platform that tracks information in real time. RMS is a proprietary system of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and it is not used by any other federal agencies that manage design and construction projects. Beginning in 2001, RMS is mandated for use on all construction projects managed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. There is no cost to download, install, or use the software, but users are required to register and set up an account to access the system. A registered user will not be able to access any projects until assigned by the Corps of Engineers contracting officer or contracting officer representative. Since RMS has evolved into a web-based platform that interfaces with other government applications, an internet connection is required for the system to function. Another reason for the internet connection is to be able to access the RMS Support Center. Support can be accessed from the website or by means of the help button located at the top right corner of the RMS interface. A support ticket can be submitted for assistance through the Service Center. The RMS Support Center also has a video library of training videos, webinars, and troubleshooting guides. The software download, video library, support, and other information is available at the website www.rms.usace.army.mil. The system is composed of two separate modules. The government module is the interface that is utilized by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Contracting Officer and Contracting Officer Representative. The government features within the system are indicated by blue navigation tiles. The Contractors module is utilized primarily by the construction contractor. The contractor features are indicated by gold navigation tiles. The Contractors module interface for the construction contractor is used to input and track a variety of construction information, such as the project schedule, submittals, requests for information, contract modifications, quality reports, testing and inspections, pay applications, and deficiency tracking. The RMS system is built off the master schedule for the project. The master schedule drives the flow and functionality of RMS. The master schedule is prepared by the construction contractor and approved by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers during the early stages of the project. Project schedules need to be prepared with the Primavera P6 software. Other popular scheduling software, such as Microsoft Project, will not interface with RMS. The project schedule is exported from the Primavera software as a standard data exchange format, or SDEF file, and then is imported into RMS. The RMS system will also interface with the submittal register that is set up at the beginning of the project. The submittal register indicates all the required submittals designated from the individual specification sections, which are prepared by the designer of record. Submittals are indicated on the submittal register as either government review by the letter G, sustainability submittals, which are indicated by the letter S, or for information only, which is FIO. The submittal register is automatically generated from the specification sections edited within the Specs and TAC software. There is no need for a manual development of the submittal register. The submittal register from Specs and TAC is exported as an Excel worksheet and uploaded into RMS. Once the user account is established and a project has been assigned by the contracting officer or contracting officer representative, signing into RMS will launch into the Contractors module. This is indicated by the gold-colored buttons at the top right corner of the screen. At the bottom of the page will be tabs with various features that can be used for entering and accessing project information. The features included within each tab may vary slightly based upon what has been assigned as roles within the project. The first tab is the Administration tab. Within the Administration tab, the typical features that can be accessed are Contract Description, Prime Contractor Information, Contract Access Control, Contract Notification Control, Subcontractors, Contractor Insurance, Contractor Payroll, Correspondence, and RFIs. The contract description is information that is entered by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers but can be viewed by the construction contractor. It includes the contract title, contract number, and contract description. For the prime contractor information, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers enters the construction contractor's name, responsibility code, and payee office. The construction contractor enters the home and site office addresses, key staff assignments and contact information, and the bonding company's information. In the Contract Access Control feature, the construction contractor can add personnel and assign different roles to them. Individuals can be identified for administrator rights to RMS. The Contract Notification Control feature is used to set up how notifications will be received. Notifications can be received through the RMS system, which is the recommended method, through email, or through text messages. Note that any combination of these three options may be utilized during a project. Subcontractors are included in the project by adding them using the subcontractor feature. When adding a new subcontractor, the subcontractor information such as name, address, phone number, and small business status is entered. The subcontractor information links to other activities within RMS. The subcontractor dollar amount is included to ensure compliance with the Prompt Payment Act when progress payments are processed. The subcontractor information will also link to required submittals based upon their assigned trade and to necessary preparatory and initial inspections. Subcontractor information is required to record labor hours within the daily reports. Within the Contractor Insurance feature, the contractor must enter the insurance carried for both the prime and subcontractors. A general basis of required insurance would be general liability, automotive, and workers' compensation, but there may be additional insurance requirements identified within the contract. Insurance information must be submitted prior to the commencement of any work on the project. Insurance requirements must be indicated in the subcontractor's information to be included in the Contractor's Insurance tab. The Contractor's Payroll feature is within RMS and it tracks certified payroll. It does not generate the payroll. Payroll dates are shown for the prime and every subcontractor for the period assigned within the project schedule. The Correspondence feature within RMS is a place to track the formal correspondence between the government and the construction contractor. This is typically in the form of signed serial letters which are transmitted between the construction contractor and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Attachments to the serial letters are referred to as a document package and are also uploaded through RMS. If it is a design-build contract, ASIs, which are generated by the architect engineer, are submitted to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers under a serial letter within the Correspondence feature. There is also a feature for Request for Information, or RFIs. A construction contractor can generate and submit a request for information to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers responses are transmitted back to the construction contractor through the RMS. All RFIs between the construction contractor and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are tracked to the RMS system. On a design-build project, RFIs between the contractor and the architect engineer are outside of RMS. The next tab within the Contractors module is the Finances tab. Within the Finances tab, there are two features, for pay activities and for progress payments. The Finances tab includes pay activity and progress payment features. Both the pay activity feature and the progress payment feature need to be set up properly for payment applications to be submitted. In the pay activity feature, the project funding must be entered into RMS based upon how they are categorized by the contract line item numbers, also known as CLINs. This breakdown must be identical to what was identified on the project bidding sheet during the project procurement phase. Every activity on a project must be identified as a pay activity with a corresponding dollar amount and assigned to one of the multiple CLIN numbers. The pay activities on the project are linked to the CLINs, and the sum of all the pay activities must equal the CLIN amount. The sum of all the CLIN amounts must equal the total contract sum for the project. Pay activities can also be linked to subcontractors and features of work. The progress payment feature is used to submit payment requests to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for work on the project. There are multiple steps that must be completed before a progress payment can be submitted. The payee office information must be complete, subcontractor information and subcontract amounts must be entered, and there should be an approved activity schedule, and there cannot be any contract variations in the CLIN total amounts. Progress payments are typically submitted monthly for periods from the first to the last day of the month, and there can only be one unpaid invoice open at a time. Requested earnings may be entered as a percentage, quantity, or amount. When the progress payment application is generated, a preview is generated and sent to the contracting officer or contracting officer representative for approval. When requests for payment applications have been submitted, there is a requirement for the contractor to also submit the prompt payment certification, which is uploaded through RMS as an attached document package. The prompt payment certification must accompany every request for payment application. The Quality Control tab is the heart of the RMS system and is the tab where construction quality control managers will spend most of their time. The Quality Control tab includes the following features: Quality Control Summary, Features of Work, Daily Reports, 3-phase inspections, hazard analysis, also known as an AHA, equipment checks, exposure hours, and quality control requirements. The first feature is a summary of the quality control related to a project as a quick overview of the quality control items and deficiencies related to that project. It is fed by the other features and tabs. In the quality control summary, there will be information related to weather days, accidents, quality control requirements, activities that have started and when they're scheduled to be finished, quality assurance deficiencies, and quality control deficiencies. Next within the Quality Control tab is the Features of Work. A definable feature of work is a task that is separate and distinct from other tasks. They are often identified as different subcontractors, trades, and work crews. Definable features of work are very similar to a work breakdown structure, or WBS, which is a more common term within the construction industry. The definable features of work are generated within the Standard Data Exchange format, or the SDEF file, from the Primavera P6 scheduling software. The Definable Features of Work tab is automatically populated when the construction schedule file is uploaded into RMS. Each definable feature of work will have its own unique quality control requirements. Daily reports are required to be generated by the construction contractor for every day of the contract period. This includes weekends and holidays. The daily reports are used by the government to track construction activity for every day during the construction period. Safety is required to be reported in every daily report. Attachments to daily reports are referred to as a document package and are uploaded to this feature through RMS. For daily reports, there are 9 reporting categories. These include the weather, quality control narratives, quality control, quality assurance deficiencies, quality control requirements, preparatory and initial inspections, activities that have been started and finished, contractors or subcontractors who are on the site, labor and equipment hours, and accident reporting. The 3-phase inspection is considered the cornerstone of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Quality Control Program. 3-phase inspections are conducted for each feature of work that is required on a project. The 3 phases are preparatory, initial, and follow-up inspections. Preparatory inspections occur prior to the commencement of any work. The initial inspection is conducted at the beginning of work. Follow-up inspections occur regularly as the work progresses. Before any work can occur, there must be at least a preparatory and initial inspection. The hazard analysis goes hand in hand with the 3-phase inspection. A hazardous analysis is also referred to as an AHA, which stands for Activity Hazard Analysis. These are prepared by subcontractors and reviewed by the general contractor's safety officer prior to the work activity involving the feature of work. AHAs are generated outside of RMS on the safety officer's approved form in accordance with the Safety and Health Requirements Manual for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, which is EM 385-1. AHAs are generated and uploaded into RMS as document packages, ideally 1 to 2 weeks before the work activity. A hazard analysis is often discussed and briefed during the preparatory and initial inspections. The Equipment Checks feature is used to identify all maintainable equipment present on a construction project site. Equipment information such as a description, serial number, make and model, and inspection dates are entered, as well as the last date that the equipment is on site. Total operating hours of equipment is reported on the daily reports. Exposure hours are the number of paid duty hours of all prime and subcontractor employees while at the work site. The reporting of exposure hours begins on the day of the Notice to Proceed, or NTP, and is reported on the daily reports. QC requirements is a collective term given to the contract requirements for quality control test, user schools, installed property, and transferred property. QC tests are quality control tests required for a feature of work and are typically identified within Part 3 execution of the specification section. These may include items such as concrete cylinder break test, steel welding inspections, and soil compaction test. QC tests are prefixed with the letters CT within the RMS system. User schools are training or instruction that is required to be given to the customer on equipment and systems that are installed. Training is common for HVAC systems and lighting controls. User schools are identified within RMS with the prefix US. Installed property is for equipment that is permanently attached to the building. It is identified within RMS with the prefix IP. Installed property is usually distinct entities with serial numbers and maintenance requirements. Transfer property is that property that exchanges ownership during the construction project. An example of property that is transferred during construction would be a government furnished item that the contractor installs. Another example would be spare materials, parts, or tools that are transferred to the government at the completion of a project. Transfer property items include the prefix TP within RMS. The next tab within the Contractors module is the Submittals tab. Within the Submittals tab, there are 4 features for submittals: Specification Sections, the Submittal Register, Submittal Assignments, and the Transmittal Log. The first feature within the Submittals tab is the Specification Sections. This is simply a listing of all the specification sections that are applicable to the contract. It should be the same as the table of contents located within the front of the specifications book or project manual. The next feature is a Submittal Register. The Submittal Register is automatically generated within the Specs and Tax software. When the project is for construction only, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will provide the Submittal Register. When it is a design-build project, the contractor's design consultant is responsible for the generation of the submittal register. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers uploads the submittal register into an RMS which populates the tab. The submittal register is used to track the status and progress of all the submittals that need to be reviewed for the project. It identifies the status of the submittals as contractor action required, government action required, items that are in review, and items that have been completed in their review. Submittal assignment is a feature within the Submittals tab that permits the reviewer assigned to review submittals to be changed or updated. It also allows for batch operations to be performed on the submittal register. The final feature on the Submittals tab is the transmittal log. When the submittal is being transmitted to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for review, the Construction Quality Control Manager identifies which specification section the submittal is being generated for. This will also identify a list of outstanding submittals that are still required by this section. If it is a design-build project, transmittals to the designer of record are outside of the RMS system. After it has gone through the DOR review, the submittals are typically uploaded into RMS with the status of "for information only," and it does not require a government review. All submittal items are transmitted to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers using Engineer Form 4025. This form is automatically generated within RMS when a new transmittal is entered. The next tab within the Contractors module is the Schedules tab. This includes the features of Activity Schedule and Feature Schedule. As identified earlier, it is the construction schedule that drives the flow of activities within RMS. The activity schedule is created outside of RMS with the Primavera scheduling software, although it is possible to manually create the activity schedule. The construction schedule is exported from Primavera as a standard data exchange format, or SDEF file, which is then imported into RMS. The activity schedule is linked to the pay activities. The contractor's payment applications can only be based upon what is reflected in the progress of the construction schedule. The feature schedule is used to plan the preparatory, initial, and follow-up inspections for each definable feature of work. RMS generates the feature schedule based upon the information that is entered in the activity schedule. Other schedule types that may appear under the Schedules tab are milestone and placement schedules. The Closeout tab is the final tab within the Contractors module. Within the Closeout tab, the features of warranty tracking and real property are typically included. Most U.S. Army Corps of Engineers construction projects have a 12-month minimum warranty on all items. The warranty tracking feature identifies those items that are under warranty that have deficiencies and are in need of correction within 12 months of the project completion. Warranty inspections occur at 4 and 9-month intervals after the project completion. The beginning date for the warranty period is the date of beneficial occupancy for the project. Either the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers or the construction contractor may enter warranty items within the Closeout tab of RMS. The Real Property feature is used to add and transfer property ownership from the contractor to the government at the completion of a project. The transfer of property is done by completing and submitting the DD Form 1354, which is generated within RMS. On U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and NAVFAC projects, the contractor's quality control managers are required to attend the Construction Quality Management for Contractors course. This is an in-person training event covering the quality management program. Only individuals who have completed the Construction Quality Management for Contractors course are allowed to be in the position of a quality control manager for a project. Once complete, the training certificate is valid for a 5-year period. Contact your local U.S. Army Corps of Engineers or NAVFAC office for the availability of training courses. This completes this TK Academy specialty course over the resident management system utilized by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. If you enjoyed this course, please give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment. You may also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content and related videos by TK Architecture.